Stop scroll. Stop scrolling. Yes, you Tim in Tulsa, Bry in Boston, even you doom scrolling in Des Moines. Look around your kitchen. The fridge hums, the lights glow, the Wi-Fi purrs, and your betting tomorrow will look exactly the same. History says that's a lousy bet. Ice storms, blackouts, cyber attacks, price spikes, pick your poison. The supply chain unravels in hours. Remember March 2020? Those weren't even dire circumstances, just panic buying, and suddenly finding pasta became a treasure hunt. When the shelves go bare, the only 2-day delivery you'll get is disappointment and an automated email about unexpected delays. So here's the blunt question. Do you own foods that can shrug off decades and still save your hide? I'm not talking about kale that dies before you finish this article. I mean the bulletproof staples, real American pantry warriors that laugh in the face of expiration dates. 15 of them. Store them right once, and they'll sit there quietly for years until the day you mutter, "Thank God I listened." Buckle up because I'm about to bulldoze through the excuses, sprinkle a dash of sarcasm, and hand you the blueprint. Grab a notebook, or keep pretending the government will airdrop a charcuterie board to your porch. Your call. Ready? Let's roll. 1. White rice, polished long grain. The unsung MVP of global calories. Strip off the bran and germ and you get a grain so low in oil content it practically mummifies itself. Rice feeds more than half the world's population for good reason. It's cheap, versatile, and virtually immortal when stored properly. White rice contains approximately 2,000 calories per pound and packs 4 to 5 grams of protein per cup when cooked. While it lacks the nutritional profile of brown rice, its shelf stability makes it the superior long-term storage option. Brown rice contains natural oils that go rancid within 6 to 8 months, while white rice can last generations. Sealed in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and parked under 75 FEF, white rice remains edible 30-plus years, longer than most mortgages. 1 cup dry becomes 3 cups cooked, meaning a single 5-gallon bucket, roughly 33 pounds, translates into approximately 200 meals. That's survival food math worth memorizing. Rice requires no pre-soaking, cooks quickly with minimal fuel, and serves as the perfect neutral canvas for whatever flavors you've managed to stockpile. It pairs with everything from beans to game meat to foraged greens. In a prolonged emergency, versatility prevents food fatigue, the psychological burnout from eating the same meals repeatedly. Pro tip: store your rice buckets with a vacuum-sealed package of bay leaves to deter weevils naturally. And rotate small jars into your everyday cooking so you're not learning to make rice after the lights go out. Basic rice cooking should be muscle memory, not something you're reading by flashlight from a survival manual. 2. Hard red wheat berries. Bread addicts rejoice. Whole wheat flour spoils in months, but intact wheat berries hang around for decades because the oil remains protected inside the kernel. This is farming technology that predates written history, yet remains one of our most reliable calorie sources. Hard red wheat contains roughly 400 calories and 16 to 17 grams of protein per cup, plus significant amounts of fiber, B vitamins, and minerals. The nutritional density is impressive. Early American homesteaders could survive almost exclusively on wheat products when necessary. A good hand-crank mill turns wheat berries into flour on demand. Worst case, a high-speed blender gets the job done. The beauty of storing whole grains is that you decide when to process them, eliminating the oxidation clock that starts ticking the moment grains are milled. Wheat isn't just for bread. Think cracked wheat breakfast cereal, wheat berry salads, sprouted grains for fresh greens in winter, or even coffee-style roasted wheat brew if caffeine supplies dry up. Wheat berries can be sprouted to produce living food rich in enzymes and vitamin C, critical nutrients that might otherwise be scarce during long emergencies. Store wheat berries in food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers and rodents will hate you. A 5-gallon bucket holds about 35 pounds of wheat, enough to make approximately 35 loaves of bread. With proper storage at temperatures under 70 FF, wheat berries remain viable for 30-plus years, making them the ultimate baking insurance policy. Consider stocking multiple grain varieties: hard red wheat for bread, soft white wheat for pastries, rye for its distinct flavor profile, and spelt for those with mild wheat sensitivities. Diversity prevents palate fatigue and provides nutritional variety. 3. Dry beans, pinto, black, navy, kidney. Yeah, beans showed up in every pioneer wagon for a reason. Protein, fiber, iron, they're like little edible batteries. Beans might be the perfect survival food, calorie-dense, nutrient-rich, price-friendly, and nearly immortal when stored correctly. 1 cup of cooked beans provides roughly 15 grams of protein, 45 grams of complex carbohydrates, and almost no fat. They're packed with folate, iron, magnesium, and potassium, nutrients that become critical when fresh food is unavailable. The high fiber content also promotes digestive health during stressful times when immune function may be compromised. Properly dried and kept away from moisture, beans still cook tender after 25+ years. Just plan on a longer soak for the grandpa batches. The older the beans, the longer they'll take to rehydrate and cook, but they never actually become unsafe due to age alone, just tougher and potentially less nutritious as vitamins degrade. Pressure cookers / cooking time and fuel consumption, so stash one next to your solar panels or camp stove. In a grid-down situation, fuel efficiency becomes crucial. A pressure cooker can reduce bean cooking time by 70%, turning a 3-hour ordeal into a 45-minute process. Variety prevents food fatigue, so stock several types: pinto beans for Mexican dishes, black beans for Caribbean flavors, kidney beans for chili, navy beans for soups, lentils for quick cooking options, and chickpeas for variety. Each brings different textures, flavors, and micronutrient profiles to your emergency menu. Bonus, beans plus rice form a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids the body can't produce. This combination has sustained civilizations through famines and economic collapse for thousands of years. Mother Nature apparently likes backup systems too. 4. Salt, plain, non-iodized. Salt never goes bad. It has one hobby: outlasting civilizations. Archaeological evidence shows salt being used as currency, preservative, and flavoring since before recorded history. The Romans paid soldiers in salt. That's where we get the word salary. Beyond flavoring, salt is a survival cornerstone. It's essential for preserving meat through curing, extending vegetable shelf life through fermentation, creating nutrient-rich broths from bones, and maintaining electrolyte balance in the human body, particularly important during physical exertion or illness when electrolytes are depleted. For your deep storage, skip iodized boxes. The iodine compounds can off-gas over years, creating an odd flavor and reduced potency. Instead, store plain pickling, kosher, or sea salt in airtight containers. Keep a separate small supply of iodized salt for regular consumption to maintain thyroid health. In a prolonged emergency, salt becomes a valuable trading commodity. Throughout history, salt routes determined trading patterns and even sparked wars. When modern conveniences disappear, the ability to preserve seasonal harvests becomes priceless. Salt also serves numerous non-culinary purposes: disinfecting wounds, stings but works, creating saline solution for nasal irrigation during respiratory infections, melting ice on walkways, preserving hides, and even removing rust from tools when combined with lemon juice. A 25-pound bag of non-iodized salt costs under $20 and lasts indefinitely. It's possibly the highest return on investment prep you can make. Cheap, stackable, indispensable. 5. Real honey. The only food archaeologists have found in ancient tombs that's still edible. Pots of honey discovered in Egyptian pyramids, sealed over 3,000 years ago, remained perfectly preserved and safe to eat. That's food preservation on a timeline that makes modern Best By dates look ridiculous. Honey's immortality stems from its perfect preservation storm: low moisture content, typically under 18%, high acidity pH 3.9, and natural hydrogen peroxide production that creates an antibacterial environment. Microorganisms that cause food spoilage simply cannot survive in pure honey. Raw, unfiltered honey contains enzymes, antioxidants, and trace minerals that processed varieties lack. These compounds contribute to honey's medicinal properties, including wound healing, cough suppression, and antimicrobial effects. During World War I, honey was applied directly to wounds on the battlefield when medical supplies ran low. Crystallized. Don't panic, it hasn't gone bad. Simply warm the jar in hot water and it liquefies like nothing happened. In fact, crystallization is a sign of purity, as ultra-filtered honey crystallizes less readily due to the removal of pollen and natural particulates. Beyond sweetening, honey serves as a natural preservative for other foods. Fruits preserved in honey, a technique called melomel, remain edible for years. Honey can also be fermented into mead, possibly the oldest alcoholic beverage known to humanity, providing both a morale booster and a safe drinking option when water purification is challenging. For maximum shelf life, store honey in glass jars rather than plastic, which can allow microscopic amounts of moisture to penetrate over very long time periods. Keep it in a cool, dark place, though honey stored at room temperature will still outlast everything else in your pantry. 6 points. Distilled white vinegar. Grandma called it liquid elbow grease, and she wasn't exaggerating. At 5% acetic acid, vinegar is potent enough to kill pathogens while remaining safe enough to consume. It's the Swiss Army knife of your survival pantry. As a food preservative, vinegar excels through acidification. By lowering pH below levels where dangerous bacteria can thrive, vinegar enables safe pickling of vegetables, extending harvest surpluses into winter months. Quick pickled vegetables provide crucial vitamin access when fresh produce becomes unavailable. From a culinary perspective, vinegar adds brightness to otherwise bland emergency meals, stimulating appetite during stressful times when people might otherwise skip meals. The tartness cuts through the fatigue of eating stored foods, particularly important for maintaining nutrition in children and elderly family members. Sealed bottles sit forever. The worst they do is get stronger as water slowly evaporates through plastic caps. Vinegar actually improves with age in many cases, developing a smoother flavor profile as compounds mellow. Even after decades, its acidity remains effective for both culinary and cleaning purposes. Beyond the kitchen, vinegar serves countless practical functions: cleaning windows without streaking, descaling coffee makers and shower heads, eliminating odors, treating minor skin infections, neutralizing alkaline insect stings, preserving garden seeds, extending the life of cut flowers, and even serving as a gentle fabric softener when modern detergents are unavailable. For maximum versatility, stock multiple vinegar varieties: white distilled for cleaning and basic preservation, apple cider vinegar for health applications and fruit preservation, and perhaps a small supply of balsamic or rice vinegar for flavoring emergency meals. Keep a case under the sink and feel smug when the fancy cleaners are gone from store shelves. 7. White sugar. Nutritionists glare, but survival isn't a kale smoothie contest. Sugar has fueled human energy needs for centuries, and during true emergencies, caloric density trumps nutritional profiles. When you're chopping wood in February with no power, those quick metabolizing carbohydrates become essential fuel. Properly stored, granulated white sugar is biologically immortal. Its high osmotic pressure creates an environment where bacteria simply cannot survive. Archaeological digs have discovered intact sugar stores from centuries past, still perfectly usable. The Crystal Sugar Company officially states that granulated sugar does not spoil because it does not provide nutrients for microorganisms to grow. Beyond direct consumption, sugar serves critical food preparation roles. It feeds yeast for bread making, preserves fruit as jam, creating a high osmotic environment hostile to microbes, enables home canning by creating proper acidity levels, and even serves as a treatment for wound dressing in austere medical situations by creating a hostile environment for bacteria. White sugar contains approximately 770 calories per cup, pure energy that requires no refrigeration, preparation, or cooking. During prolonged physical exertion or extreme cold, these immediately available calories can prevent hypothermia and exhaustion. Sugar's preservative properties extend to other foods as well. Fruit preserved in sugar syrup remains safe for years, retaining vital vitamin C and flavor compounds that would otherwise be lost. Traditional sugar curing of meat alongside salt creates protein stable at room temperature for months. Dry sugar in airtight containers is effectively immortal. Lumped into a brick, simply break it up with a fork, it's still sugar. Like salt, sugar becomes valuable currency during extended emergencies. Throughout history, sugar trade routes determined economic power structures precisely because of its universal value and perfect storage properties. Think of each pound as edible hope you can spoon into coffee after the 10th day of generator noise. 8. Pure maple syrup, not that maple-flavored corn goo at the diner. We mean grade A tree sap boiled down to 66% sugar content. This labor-intensive natural sweetener represents one of North America's original survival foods, harvested by indigenous peoples long before European contact. Pure maple syrup contains an impressive micronutrient profile absent in refined sweeteners: manganese, zinc, potassium, calcium, and over 24 antioxidant compounds with anti-inflammatory properties. During extended emergencies when fresh fruits and vegetables become scarce, these micronutrients provide valuable nutritional insurance. The high sugar content and relatively low water activity make maple syrup naturally resistant to microbial growth. An unopened glass bottle lasts decades without refrigeration when stored in a cool, dark environment. Even after opening, pure maple syrup resists spoilage far better than commercial alternatives. If mold does eventually form after opening, usually appearing as a film on the surface, all is not lost. Simply skim the mold, bring the syrup to a rolling boil for about 5 minutes, and rebottle in a clean container. The high heat effectively sterilizes the syrup without damaging its flavor or nutritional properties. Beyond pancakes, maple syrup serves as an excellent sugar substitute in baking, particularly with whole grains that might otherwise taste too healthy for reluctant family members. It provides a comforting flavor profile during stressful times when comfort foods become psychologically important. For maximum shelf life, store in glass bottles rather than plastic, which can allow microscopic amounts of oxygen transfer over very long time periods. Keep in a cool, dark place, ideally below 65 Celsius. Drizzle on oatmeal or stir into rehydrated squash to feel like civilization hasn't completely collapsed. 9. Cornstarch. Walk down any southern pantry and you'll find a dusty box of this culinary duct tape. As long as it stays bone dry, cornstarch never spoils, a shelf-stable thickening agent that transforms thin, watery soups into satisfying meals with just a tablespoon or two. Unlike flour, which can develop rancid notes as its minimal oil content oxidizes, cornstarch contains virtually no fat. It's essentially pure starch, providing approximately 30 calories per tablespoon and creating a smooth, silky texture in gravies, puddings, and sauces that flour can't replicate. During extended emergencies when fresh dairy becomes unavailable, cornstarch enables the creation of puddings, custards, and cream pies using shelf-stable milk powder, providing familiar comfort foods that boost morale, particularly important for children and elderly family members. Cornstarch serves as the base for homemade baking powder, mixed with cream of tartar and baking soda, allowing you to create fluffy pancakes and quick breads even after commercial leavening agents have expired. This recipe within a recipe approach maximizes pantry flexibility. Beyond cooking, cornstarch serves numerous practical functions, treating diaper rash and skin irritations, creating a dry shampoo for hair cleaning when water is scarce, reducing chafing during extended physical activity, and even polishing silver when modern cleaners are unavailable. For maximum shelf life, transfer from the original packaging to airtight glass containers, adding a moisture-absorbing desiccant packet if available. Keep it in a sealed mason jar, and humidity won't stand a chance of turning your thickener into a brick. In a no-waste survival mindset, cornstarch also doubles as an effective fire starter when mixed with petroleum jelly. A small tin of this mixture can ignite even damp kindling, providing emergency heat and cooking capability. Soy sauce, naturally brewed unopened. Think of soy sauce as liquid umami armor, brewed and fermented for months, then further protected by salt levels around 18%. Traditional soy sauce represents one of humanity's oldest condiments, and for good reason. An unopened bottle of naturally brewed soy sauce can sit 20-plus years with negligible flavor loss thanks to its unique preservation trifecta: high salt content, completed fermentation process, and acidic pH between 4.2 to 4.8. Unlike modern chemical-brewed imitations, traditional soy sauce actually improves with age for the first few years, developing deeper complexity. From a nutrition perspective, soy sauce provides significant amounts of riboflavin, niacin, and small but valuable amounts of protein, approximately 1 gram per tablespoon. While high in sodium, about 900 milligrams per tablespoon, this becomes an advantage during extended physical activity when electrolyte replacement becomes crucial. The preservation qualities of soy sauce extend to other foods as well. Meat marinated in soy sauce before drying into jerky lasts significantly longer due to the antimicrobial effects of the salt and acid combination. Vegetables fermented with soy sauce develop complex flavors while gaining months of stable shelf life. In emergency cooking scenarios, soy sauce transforms bland staples like rice, beans, and wheat into satisfying meals through its flavor concentration. Just a few drops provide significant depth to otherwise one-dimensional emergency rations. This flavor efficiency makes soy sauce worth its weight in your survival pantry. For maximum shelf life, choose traditionally brewed products containing only soybeans, wheat, salt, and water in glass bottles rather than plastic. Keep unopened bottles in a cool, dark place. Once opened, refrigeration prolongs life, but even room temp sauce holds for months thanks to its own salt moat. Marinate jerky, season rice, mask the taste of questionable canned meat, whatever keeps you from gagging on day 37. 11. Bouillon cubes, or powder, tiny salty flavor grenades that transform bland carbs into edible happiness. Because they're dehydrated and salted to the moon, bouillon cubes remain safe indefinitely if they're kept cool and dry. These concentrated flavor bombs might be the most efficient morale boosters in your emergency pantry. Modern bouillon typically contains salt, MSG or yeast extract, dehydrated vegetables, spices, and fat, all preserved through dehydration to moisture levels below 5%. This creates an environment too dry for microbial growth while concentrating flavors into a format that requires minimal storage space. From a practical standpoint, bouillon provides the foundation for countless emergency meals. Rice cooked in broth instead of water gains flavor dimension. Bean soups develop depth without requiring precious fresh ingredients, and even foraged greens become palatable when simmered with a bouillon base. Beyond flavor, bouillon provides crucial sodium, an electrolyte often depleted during extended physical activity or illness involving fever and sweating. While excessive sodium concerns us during normal times, emergency situations often involve electrolyte imbalances that concentrated broth can help address. Consider stocking multiple varieties: vegetable, beef, chicken, and perhaps specialized options like mushroom or seafood. This flavor diversity prevents palate fatigue during extended emergencies when psychological factors significantly impact nutritional intake. Children particularly benefit from familiar flavors during unfamiliar circumstances. For maximum shelf life, store original packages inside sealed Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, or transfer to airtight glass containers. Protect from heat, moisture, and light, the three enemies of virtually all preserved foods. Under proper conditions, bouillon remains potent for 15 to 20 years. A single cube plus boiling water equals broth for noodles, beans, or that squirrel you thought you'd never eat. 12. Non-fat dry milk properly packaged. Milk is the poster child for perishable until you flip it into powder and vacuum seal it with oxygen absorbers. Non-fat versions keep almost indefinitely because the shelf-wrecking milk fat is gone. This technological marvel enables you to store dairy nutrition for decades without refrigeration. 1 cup of reconstituted non-fat dry milk provides approximately 8 grams of complete protein, 300 milligrams of calcium, 30% of daily requirements, vitamin D, B12, phosphorus, and potassium. During extended emergencies when fresh dairy becomes unavailable, this nutritional profile becomes crucial, especially for children, pregnant women, and the elderly. The protein in milk powder provides all 9 essential amino acids the human body cannot produce, making it a true nutritional insurance policy. The calcium content helps prevent bone density loss during extended periods of reduced food variety, while phosphorus supports cellular repair and energy production. Reconstitute at 3 tablespoons per cup of water for drinking milk, adjust to 4 tablespoons for cereal or cooking applications, or use the dry powder directly in baking recipes. The versatility extends to creating yogurt if you have starter culture, simple cheese with rennet and citric acid, and even emergency infant formula when combined with the proper nutritional supplements. For maximum shelf life, store in oxygen-free environments using Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, or repackage into canning jars with oxygen absorbers and proper sealing. Keep in cool, dark conditions below 70 Fahrenheit for optimal longevity. Under ideal conditions, non-fat dry milk remains nutritionally viable for 15 to 20 years. Consider rotating smaller packages into your regular baking to maintain familiarity with its properties. Make pancakes, biscuits, or white sauces periodically using your stored milk powder so the transition during emergencies isn't jarring. Calcium for the kiddos, protein for you, coffee whitener for everyone's sanity. Butter with all the moisture and milk solids gently cooked away. Ghee is shelf-stable gold. This ancient preservation method transforms perishable dairy fat into a cooking medium that remains stable at room temperature for years without refrigeration. Unlike regular butter, which quickly develops rancidity through oxidation and microbial growth, ghee contains virtually no water or milk proteins. The clarification process removes these perishable components while concentrating fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, nutrients that become precious during extended emergencies when fresh fruits and vegetables are unavailable. The smoking point of ghee exceeds 485-250 deuce, significantly higher than butter, 350 deuce, significantly higher than butter, 350 deuce, vegetable oil 450 price beef. This heat tolerance prevents the formation of harmful compounds during high-temperature cooking, making ghee ideal for emergency situations where precise temperature control might be challenging. Beyond cooking, ghee serves medicinal purposes in traditional Ayurvedic practice as a carrier for fat-soluble herbs, a skin moisturizer during dry winter conditions, and even as a base for healing salves when combined with antimicrobial herbs. This dual-purpose nature maximizes its value in your survival pantry. Commercial ghee typically lasts 1 to 2 years unopened, but homemade ghee stored in properly sanitized glass jars can remain stable for 3 to 5 years when kept cool and dark. The key to maximum longevity is ensuring complete removal of all milk solids during the clarification process, as these proteins are what spoil first. High smoke point, rich flavor, zero refrigeration needed if it stays sealed and clean. Use it to fry eggs on a camp stove, saute garden veggies, or drizzle over popcorn you just popped from. Spoiler alert, item 15. Keep it in glass jars away from light and ghee will wait patiently for years. 14. Pemmican. The OG protein bar invented by native peoples and adopted by Arctic explorers, pemmican might be the most concentrated shelf-stable survival food ever created, a perfect balance of fat, protein, and minimal carbohydrates that provides sustained energy for demanding physical tasks. Traditional pemmican contains just 3 ingredients: rendered fat, typically tallow from ruminant animals, powdered lean dried meat, and sometimes crushed dried berries. This simple formulation creates a remarkably complete nutritional profile: fat for calories and fat-soluble vitamins, protein for muscle maintenance and repair, and berries for trace minerals and vitamin C. The preservation method is genius. By thoroughly drying the meat before grinding and mixing with rendered fat, the moisture content drops below levels where bacterial growth is possible. The fat coating further protects the protein from oxidation and moisture reabsorption. The result? A food that remains edible for decades when properly prepared. The caloric density is unmatched, approximately 120 to 150 calories per ounce, delivered in a macronutrient ratio ideal for sustaining energy during high-exertion activities. Arctic explorers and mountain expeditions relied on pemmican precisely because it provided maximum nutrition and minimal weight and volume. Modern adaptations sometimes include nuts, honey, or dried fruits for additional nutrients and flavor variety. While purists might argue these additions reduce shelf life, properly dried ingredients properly incorporated still create a product stable for 5+ years. Properly dried and vacuum-sealed pemmican can last indefinitely at room temperature. Each bite is a calorie bomb of fat and protein, exactly what you need when the power's out and you just chop 3 cords of wood. Learn to make it now so you're not Googling recipes on 3% phone battery later. 15. Popcorn kernels, unpopped dry. No, not the microwave bag swimming in palm oil. I'm talking raw dent or butterfly kernels stored in airtight containers. These humble seeds represent dual-purpose preparation at its finest, a storable grain that doubles as morale-boosting comfort food. Unpopped popcorn kernels remain viable for decades when properly stored. The science is simple. The hard outer pericarp seals moisture inside at approximately 14%, creating the perfect internal steam chamber that enables popping when heated. As long as that moisture balance remains intact, the kernels remain poppable, potentially for 20+ years. Nutritionally, popcorn offers surprising benefits: approximately 3 grams of fiber per 3-cup pop serving, along with manganese, magnesium, phosphorus, zinc, and antioxidant compounds. At roughly 100 calories per ounce when popped, it provides satisfying volume with relatively moderate caloric impact. Beyond snacking, popcorn kernels serve as a versatile grain. They grind into cornmeal for cornbread, polenta, or tortillas. They can be soaked in wood ash lye water to create hominy through nixtamalization, increasing nutritional availability. They even serve as emergency seed stock for growing your own corn, if storage conditions have maintained germination viability. The psychological value of familiar comfort foods during extended emergencies cannot be overstated. The ritual of popping corn, hearing the kernels explode, smelling the nutty aroma, sharing a bowl with family provides normalcy during decidedly abnormal circumstances, particularly important for children's morale. Moisture below 14% keeps them viable for decades. Add item 13 ghee plus a dash of item 4 salt, and you've got crisis comfort food worthy of a Netflix binge, assuming Netflix still exists. There it is, Patriots, 15 culinary immortals that couldn't care less about Best By dates. Nail the storage: cool, dark, dry, oxygen-free. And these staples will outlive your goldfish, your SUV, maybe your in-laws. The common thread among these survival superfoods? They've been feeding humanity through disasters, wars, and upheavals since before electricity was a twinkle in Benjamin Franklin's eye. These aren't trendy superfoods hawked by influencers. They're battle-tested caloric insurance policies that have sustained generations through the worst times. Remember, pantry preparedness isn't about doomsday fantasies, it's about practical resilience against predictable disruptions. Winter storms, power outages, supply chain hiccups, economic wobbles, regional disasters, these happen regularly within a normal lifetime. The prepared person simply experiences them as inconveniences rather than catastrophes. Start small if you must: 1 5-gallon bucket of rice, a few pounds of beans, some salt and honey. Build gradually, focus on foods you'll actually eat, and incorporate them into your regular meal rotation. The best emergency food is what you're already comfortable preparing and consuming. Ignore this advice and you're one hurricane, one ransomware attack, or one freak drought away from paying $15 for a wilted lettuce head if you can find one. So this weekend, skip the brunch line, swing by the bulk aisle, and start stacking resilience on the shelf. Your future self, huddled over a gas burner and a blackout, will salute the genius you were today. The greatest survival tool isn't a fancy knife, a solar generator, or even a stockpile of ammunition. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your family won't go hungry when systems fail. That peace of mind is worth every penny and every square foot of storage space. Smash that share button, send this to the friend who thinks Uber Eats is a food group, and remember, prepared beats lucky every single time. Stay sharp, stay stocked, and